What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up. March has arrived. FTC is always a vibe. We got the top 10 ranked scariest NBA players in history. This is interesting. I want to check this out.
These players put fear in their opponent's
Let's see if we all agree.
Not because of their skill or the number of points they were scoring, but because of their sheer physical strength and willingness to throw hands at any given moment. This is a list of players that nobody wanted to mess with. The scariest NBA players of all time.
That thumbnail crazy.
There were plenty of NBA players who could fight, but only one was a real MMA fighter, James Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
6'7", 240-pound power forward, who currently plays for the Pacers, was a lead vote getter in a survey of who in the league would you least like to fight. Since he was 5 years old, Johnson trained karate and is a black belt. He's also competed in kickboxing with a 20-0 amateur record.
Damn.
A 7-0 MMA record. He even said that he could beat John Jones if he had enough time.
Shit, I don't know about all that.
To train wrestling.
Not gonna beat him for real. But like I said, with a year of training defense, I just need ground defense.
The whole league would say the same thing. One player said of Johnson, "That's not smoke they want. I've seen it in person." And it's easy to be a bully when you're one of the biggest and strongest guys in the court. But how about being one of the most terrifying players in the NBA while weighing less than 200 pounds?
Who?
Vernon Maxwell was listed at 6'4"
This is my first time hearing about him.
and 180 pounds. But his nickname Mad Max says everything you need to know. During his career, Maxwell was fighting everybody. Guards,
Damn, this
centers,
dude was a first school threat.
opponents, teammates, and even spectators. And while he was in Houston, Max got into a heated argument with teammate Hakeem Olajuwon and nearly stabbed him to death. But
What? What? Nah, bro, imagine that damn NBA story headline. Nigga, Hall of Fame center Hakeem Olajuwon, bro, stabbed by his own teammate? Nah, dog. What was the outcome of that?
Mad Max didn't stop there, because in 2000, when he played for Seattle, Mad Max wanted to beat up another teammate, Gary Payton. Vernon
Nah, this dude was a crash out. This is the first sports crash out that I've ever heard. Vernon Maxwell.
To fight Payton so bad that he ended up hurting two of his teammates who tried to be peacemakers. And
What? Nah, that dude, bro, that had to be drugs or something that man had to been on, bro. What the hell?
this next guy...
It's one thing if you try to fire your teammate like one time till they saying some slick shit, but bro, you having a whole history, bro.
also dabbled
You
in
crazy.
MMA, but he also happens to be the most physically dominant player of all time. During his prime,
Shaq?
Shaq weighed between 330 and
Gotta put Shaq on the list.
370 pounds. And yet, he could move like a ballet dancer. His combination of size, strength, and agility was unmatched, and nobody could stop the Shaq attack. Not only was Shaq dominant, he was also vicious towards his opponents.
Yeah,
I mean, this
Shaq's had a
guy
couple
was
fights.
a force. He was mean. He was nasty.
The morning after you played with Shaq, it always felt like you were in a fight. You were sore from head to toe. Nazar Muhammad.
You're looking at him like the fear that you might get is he's doing that full speed thing. Am I really going to try and take a charge on this?
Right.
Like
Hell
Father
no.
Time guarded Shaq. Only player ever to not shoot anything outside of the paint and dominate.
And when it comes to Shaq's dear frenemy on Inside the NBA, it's safe to say he had a little temper as well. Charles Barkley was an undersized big man, standing at only 6'6", but
That's
he was
crazy.
athletic, extremely physical, and wasn't backing down from anybody. Barkley's lists of fights and on-court incidents is extremely long, starting with this forearm knockdown, or that time when he single-handedly fought the bad boy Pistons. Barkley's career was even in jeopardy at one point, because he was not only fighting on the court, but also getting into brawls with civilians, like that time in 1997, when he got arrested after throwing a man through a glass window at a bar, or in 1991,
What?
when Sir Charles infamously spat on a young girl sitting in the crowd while aiming to spit on someone else. When he
So he meant to spit on somebody else, bro. That's kind of weirdo behavior. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Bro, as a damn grown ass man, bro, like, bro, spitting on somebody is crazy, dog. That is crazy.
combine that with all the fighting, cursing, and trash talk.
It
Chuck was
depends
one-
what they do, but bro, like, come on, spitting, bro, like, that's a bad look, bro. That's my first time hearing about that.
baddest to ever lace him up.
better that he
How
spit
about
on a
being
little
one of the
girl by
craziest?
accident?
Ron Artest served an 86-game suspension for the most gruesome incident in
Ron
NBA
Artest
history.
definitely was like the top crash out in the early 2000s, like NBA and like sports world, bro, definitely.
That was just one of his many incidents on the court. From the moment he arrived in the league in 1999 until he won a championship with Kobe in 2010, Artest was one of the most physical and aggressive defenders that nobody wanted to play against. In 2001, when Jordan was prepping for his second unretirement, Artest broke his ribs in a pickup game. But beyond being a world-class defender...
What? Why is that my first time hearing that?
Unretirement, Artest broke his ribs in a...
What? Really?
Pickup game. But beyond being a world-class defender and a defensive player of the year, Ron instilled fear in opponents because he was a wild man. Artest drank alcohol before and even during games.
Oh, no. Crash up. Bro, I sit up here and I spit nothing but facts, bro. Yo, shout out to Ron Artest. He's a Hall of Famer without a doubt. But, bro, yo, if you getting lit like that before a game, bro, you have all, like, just...
And he'd always play on the edge of getting ejected. In 2003, he nearly fought Pat Riley and the whole Miami Heat bench. And that same year, in a game against the Knicks,
Pacers
Ron got
jerseys
so mad that he destroyed some poor cameraman's equipment. You'd think that he'd calm down after serving his suspension for the malice at the Palace, but Artest just continued to punch people in the face. In 2007, Artest had to spend 20 days in jail for another off-court incident because he beat up his wife. But despite changing his name to Meta World Peace in 2011, his old habits remain.
Meta
just
World
as
Peace
James
was so
Harden.
funny, bro.
A decade before Artest started punching people on NBA courts, one particular bully was more terrifying than anybody. Charles Oakley came into the league in 1985.
Really?
And he quickly gained a reputation for being an enforcer. When you needed a hard foul, Oakley was there. When a fight broke out between players, Oak was right in the middle of it. In 1989, he squared up against Xavier McDaniel, another colorful character who could easily be on this list. Squared up against Xavier McDaniel, another colorful character who could easily be...
What do you mean by that? What does he mean by that? What does he mean by colorful character? I need some explanations. That was crazy, low-key. Maybe I might be overthinking.
On this list. In the 1996 preseason, Oakley and Barkley got tangled up on a rebound, and Oakley tossed Barkley.
Damn!
It didn't matter that it was preseason, as both players
in the
immediately
preseason is
started
crazy
swinging and got ejected. During the 1997 playoffs, Oak got into a fight with Alonzo Mourning, and next year, these two hotheads got into it again. In 2000, Oakley punched Clippers guard Jeff McInnes after a dispute over a mutual romantic interest. Oakley didn't even wait for the game to start. He punched McInnes during a pregame shoot-around.
Really?
But maybe the biggest ass-whooping Oakley ever dealt was that of Tyrone Hill, who Oakley beat up over a gambling debt. Even after he retired from the league,
I mean, that's
Oak
different,
wasn't
though.
done.
Like, if you owe somebody debt, you owe somebody their money, bro. That's different. That's the only valid one. Bro, I did not know Charles Oakley was toxic like that. Like, I've only honestly, like, found out about Charles Oakley through NBA 2K, my team. And obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. I didn't know that he was an enforcer like that. That's crazy.
There were several reports of him beating up people who dared to step up to him. However, Oakley wasn't all brute and no heart, and he's the main reason one other scary guy even made it to the NBA. When he was a high school kid, Ben Wallace attended Charles Oakley's
I mean, this is a surprise that Ben Wallace on this list. Come on now.
basketball camp, and Oakley
I didn't know
being
Oakley had an influence on Ben, though.
He punched him in the face.
Got the ball, dropped it.
Did Charles Oakley's basketball camp, and Oakley being Oakley, punched him in the face.
Got the ball.
That's what right there sparked the crash out of Ben Wallace, bro. It always, you know, one thing that's 100% facts. That's like even a life lesson, bro. For every like person that is like the biggest bully, there's always somebody that was a bigger bully than them, and they like are traumatized by that, and they take it out on everybody else. That's always how it starts. Most of the time, people that are like bullies, 90% of the time, they got their ass whooped and got seriously embarrassed when they were younger or some type of different situation. And they start becoming like, you know what I'm saying, crash outs. They start wanting to tote guns and stuff and, you know what I'm saying, join cliques and sets and gangs or whatever. Like, that's always usually most, not always, but I say 90% of the time why somebody's always like that, wanting to be an enforcer, wanting to fight everybody, wants to be that tough guy. It always starts from that. That's my first time ever hearing about that. And you would think that Ben Wallace, like nobody ever like stepped up to Ben Wallace or like, you know what I'm saying, beat him up or ever got the upper hand, but it was Charles Oakley that was the one that started it all.
Ball drive to the basket, bam. Hold me in the lip. split my jump.
Because he showed no fear and played with tenacious energy, Oakley immediately fell in love with Wallace's game, and he recommended him to his alma mater, Virginia Union University. Without Oakley, Big Ben might have never played in the NBA.
Really?
Once he made the league, he showed immediately that he was made of the same material as his mentor. At 6'9", Wallace was the shortest center in the league, but they called him Big Ben for a reason. See, Ben was a fitness freak who never left the gym and could bench 400 pounds.
Damn.
Due to his muscular body, mean face, and crazy afro, nobody was messing with him, and it didn't end well for the ones who tried. Honorable mention goes to his teammate Rasheed Wallace, a guy who couldn't control his anger and who played like a ticking time bomb.
Nah, Rasheed, bro, he averaged like 4 techs every NBA game.
Walking technical foul.
For real.
He's the all-time leader in techs in a season with 41. But two Wallaces are not the baddest Detroit big men of all time. That title belongs to Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn, who put the bad in the bad boy.
Everybody knows
Pistons.
Bill Laimbeer.
There wasn't an NBA
Bill Laimbeer,
player
bro, my
in the
voice
league
cracked.
who wasn't punched, elbowed, or shown to the floor by Detroit's big
Damn.
men. And they long had a reputation for being the dirtiest players ever, especially Laimbeer. While Mahorn was setting hard screens and throwing punches.
I let her play defense. I like to bump and bang, I guess. And that's what's basically has been my job.
Laimbeer was also notorious for planting his feet in the player's landing space, which resulted in plenty of ankle injuries.
I haven't really ever liked Laimbeer in any social situation.
No.
Yeah.
And it's because he's a dirty player.
And the final part of the Bad Boys front court trio played the hardest of them all. Dennis Rodman was called the Worm, but his other nickname, Dennis the Menace, probably suits him even better. Playing with unlimited energy, Rodman would get in opponents' faces. He'd trip them, annoy them, and not let them breathe.
But I'm seeing the battle between these two guys. They're fighting, giving it everything they got.
Dennis wasn't the scariest player ever, but he was certainly one of the most irritating and physically difficult to play against. Nobody had an easy night against Rodman. And this next player was far from the biggest or the strongest, yet nobody wanted to mess with him, not even Shaq. Standing at 6'6" and 220 pounds, he may not look like a bruiser, but Jerry Stackhouse was
Stackhouse? Nah, this is surprising. I've obviously known Jerry Stackhouse in the early 2000s. He was a, casual / all-star. I think he had like 2 decent seasons. But bro, I never knew he was an enforcer. Really?
bad man, and somebody you didn't want to get angry. Stackhouse's fists have a long list of NBA faces on their resume.
What?
In 1996, he landed a couple of big haymakers on Jeff Hornacek during a game. In 97, Stack punched Allen Iverson in the face in practice. It was one...
No, I know Iverson got back. I know Iverson got his get back. No, I wish they left that part out. No fucking way. Iverson did not let this bald head man Jerry Stackhouse. No. Fuck that shit. We crashing out for Iverson, nigga. I don't care how old this beef is. What? No. I'm not believing this story. That's fake. This story is fake. Bro, fuck that shit, bro. We crashing out for Iverson, bro. I don't care if this beef is 30 years in, man. Where Jerry Stackhouse at? What? In practice? You mean to tell me Jerry Stackhouse pulled a Draymond Green on Iverson, bro? Like Jordan Poole? No. Bro, I'm having trouble breathing right now. Bro, no. Please tell Iverson got his get back. I know Iverson got his get back. I know he got his get back. What did Iverson do?
One of his best friends on the Sixers. However, if you think that Stack only faced ink makers on Jeff Hornacek during a game, in 97, Stack punched Allen Iverson in the face in practice, who was one of his best friends on the Sixers.
What? Fuck Jerry Stackhouse, bro! I never knew this until today! I know Iverson got his get back. They probably left it out of there because they didn't want to get demonetized, bro, right?
However, if you think that Stack only went after little guys, think twice. In 99, Stackhouse beat the hell out of 6'10" Christian Laettner over a gambling debt. But the coup de grace of his fighting career happened in 2005, when he brutally beat down Jazz rookie Kirk Snyder. After the game in which Snyder provoked Stackhouse, Jerry asked his equipment manager for a tracksuit so he wouldn't mess up his suit. He then walked to the Jazz bus and put a smackdown on Snyder.
We were in the game. He gave me a cheap shot. I just kind of lost it. I wasn't worried about the game anymore, so I just waited for him in the tunnel.
After which, arena security...
Bro, this nigga Stackhouse low-key gangster, bro. Bruh. I did not know this, bro. I know Iverson got his get back, bro. I know he did, man. I know he did. I'm not, bro. This ruined my day hearing that.
Testified that Snyder received a severe beating. Treating it like any other day at the office, Stackhouse returned to the locker room, calmly handed over the tracksuit to the equipment manager, and put on his suit and tie like nothing happened. In the 2006 finals, after he fouled Shaq super hard, nobody from the Heat said a thing to Jerry. And
Nah, that's
Shaq
crazy.
just walked away.
That's crazy.
And
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Nah, bro. Stackhouse, bro. This man was the most feared nigga, bro. What? Who's the last on this list or next?
But not least scary person on this list will always be remembered for his
Latrell.
violence, and not for his 4 All-Star appearances. It's Latrell Sprewell,
Yeah, bro,
whose
Latrell's a
career lowlight
dog.
is the 1997 choking of PJ Carlissimo, his coach on the Golden State
Everybody
Warriors.
heard about this.
Carlissimo yelled at Sprewell to try a little harder in practice, and wanted him to put a little mustard on his passes. Spree was in a bad mood that day, and something triggered him to attack his coach. Latrell threatened to kill his coach, and started dragging him backward by the throat like a rag doll, proceeding to choke out Carlissimo for a good 10 seconds before he got pulled away by his teammates. After he spent 10 minutes in the locker room, Spree still wasn't satisfied, and came back to attack his coach again. Because of
Crash
apparent
out.
marks on Carlissimo's neck, the NBA issued an investigation and suspended Sprewell for 68 games
Damn.
without pay.
I didn't know
But
how
this
much he
wasn't
got
the
suspended for. I remember this choking incident, though. I heard about that back in the day.
only beating of Spree's career. In 1995, he beat up teammate Jerome Kersey, and then returned to practice with a 2x4, threatening to kill Kersey. Then, to top it off, in 2002, he came to the Knicks practice camp with a broken hand, which he broke after an assault on his yacht. And before we finish this off, here's a couple of honorable mentions of the scariest guys.
Gotta put Matt Barnes,
Here's
KG.
Karl Malone, the all
Karl Malone means scary? I mean, he's scary for a different reason, but
time leader in technical fouls and the unofficial all-time leader in elbows thrown. Then there's Kenyon Martin, who made a career out of
Kenyon
being
Martin, yep.
tougher and meaner than his opponents. Kevin Garnett made most rookies' lives a living hell. Ivan Johnson was called Ivan the Terrible.
who the hell is that?
Made people uncomfortable just by his presence. And the two hosts
I've never
of
heard
the
of him
All
today.
Smoke podcast were no strangers to a fist fight. Javaris Crittenden, Anthony Mason, David West, Quincy Acey, and Udonis Haslem all deserve a mention as well. If you think we forgot somebody, please let us know
Hey,
in the
man,
comments.
this was
And
surprising.
check out
Learned
of our
some
other
new
videos on the
things that I
screen.
never found out before, man. Wow.